Hey everybody, meteorologist Brad Panovich here with an update on the risk for some strong storms today. It looks like the heaviest of the rain has finally shifted east of the area, but now we're watching for the potential for maybe some strong storms developing this afternoon. What you're looking at here is the surface conditions. The remnant low of beta is here, and there's a warm slash, let's call it stationary front here that is going to try to lift north. Now you see the area in yellow that I've highlighted. That's what we consider the low risk for severe storms today. That includes most of South Carolina up into the state line. It does creep a little bit into Mecklenburg, Union, Anson and Stanley County and Richmond County. So this is the area we'll be watching this afternoon. And where does that stationary front go? Does it lift north closer to Charlotte? That would put us potentially in the risk for severe storms. Let me show you a different perspective. I put the clouds and the temperatures on here. So you can see where that warm front is. It's basically right in here right now. Temperatures over most of the Piedmont are kind of chilly, upper 50s to low 60s. That's kind of an unstable air mass. And if I look at the stable air mass, excuse me, if I look at the wind directions, notice the wind directions here are all out of the northeast. But right around Columbia, they start coming out of the south, also near Florence, and then over here towards Rockingham. So the boundary is right in here. And as that sits there, anywhere along or south of that front, we're going to watch the potential for some severe storms, maybe even isolated tornado. Now, this is a look at what we call the significant tornado parameter. You can see it's basically along and south of that front. So if this starts to creep north with time, that would put some of these areas in a low risk. And again, the overall risk is low. We're talking a 1-2% probability of a tornado within this area. But again, if you're north, you're going to see nothing. It's going to be basically cold and drizzly and misty, or warm, humid with the chance for some isolated storms. So let me show you how this progresses north throughout the afternoon. So here's a quick look at the short range rapid refresh, we call it, the HRRR. It's basically what we use quite frequently to kind of look at how things unfold. And you can see as we go into the afternoon, I'm going to stop this around 2 o'clock, you kind of see that boundary setting up right about in there. Now, what's interesting is there's a little storm north of it that I would keep an eye on, but the boundary clearly looks to be in there. And watch as I go 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. It looks like it generally stays in this area and then starts to shift back to the east. So let me back that up. I'm going to go back to 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6, 7, and then you see the storms really crank it up, 8, 9, 10 as the front moves east. So that's kind of the area we're watching. Now, another parameter to look at to see where that front sets up is something we call CAPE, or thunderstorm fuel. And again, you can see the lighter colors to the north, the brighter colors green. The scale's on the left, so basically the higher the number and brighter the color, the higher the chance of seeing a thunderstorm. This is the fuel for storm. So this is going to 2 o'clock. Notice how the low end risk starts coming up into Lancaster County, maybe southern Chesterfield. I'll go until about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. So you can kind of see the areas we're watching. That's really the area of greatest concern, just south and east of Charlotte. That's the thunderstorm fuel. And notice it's highest in Lancaster, Chesterfield counties, maybe southern Chester County. So let's look at that updraft helicity. Sometimes where we expect rotating storms. I'll back this up and we'll go into the app. This is 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. So you can see this is the general area right in here that I'm watching for. And that's the area, if you live there, be extra weather aware today. That's potentially where we could see some strong to severe storms after about 2 o'clock. So let me back this up one more time. This is 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock. So right there, I mean, right to me, this is the area. There's a little area right there with that cell, but that's elevated. It looks like that's north of the boundary. The boundary looks to here. And let's look at the temperatures just to see where that front is, because I think this will tell us as well where the front is. So I'm backing this up to around noon, and you can see that front basically right there. This is where the temperature boundary is, at least on the short range guidance. And we'll update this every hour. Again, I'll go between the temperature, radar, updraft helicity, CAPE, and shear, which is pretty high everywhere. But you kind of get the idea. That area right in there, we'll be watching this afternoon for some strong and severe storms. But overall, the threat is pretty low. Most of us are just going to see a misty, drizzly kind of day because we will see these low clouds locked in. It's kind of weird and cool to see the satellite image because you can actually see that front on the satellite image right there. See that boundary of low clouds? Right there is the warm front. So it's cold here, warm here, thunderstorms here, none. Big time thunderstorm threat here. If that front shifts north, anywhere along or south of that is where we'll watch for storms. Of course, we'll have you updated throughout the afternoon. I'll keep an eye on and post any updates on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.